The Toronto Blue Jays have made multiple moves, including one trade regarding a Blue Jay that has been in the organization for a very long time. I'm going to break down exactly who this is and discuss what this trade means going forward, but also dive into the other moves the Jays made, as well as multiple updates ahead of the game tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. We also have some comments from the Blue Jays revealing that this team and the vibes right now are not only a lot better than they thought, but some interesting comments you're going to want to stay tuned for. So a ton to go over today, folks, as well as a Max Scherzer update. So tons of video information coming out for you in this video. Before we get into it, if you're a part of the 71% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. You guys are beasts. Thank you guys for your continued support over here. Let's dive into the video. We have a lot to go over today. Now, obviously, the Toronto Blue Jays had an off day last night. It was a very, much needed off day. The Jays are 20-20. They are right in the thick of it. Things are going very well for this team. And most importantly, the vibes are high. And they made a trade yesterday. Now, this trade is not going to, be groundbreaking or anything like that, but it is involving a player that has been around for quite some time and is now gone. And we're going to dive into some interesting comments from George Springer. But Stuart Barroa was traded to the Dodgers in exchange for cash considerations, and Dylan Tate has cleared waivers and accepted his assignment to AAA. So actually a couple of pretty important, key factors here. Stuart Barroa is gone now. He's no longer going to be a Blue Jay. He's going to go to the Dodgers. And there's actually a few things. Obviously, this move in itself is not groundbreaking, but Stuart Barroa, we saw him last season. We saw him a ton in spring training. Like, this is a guy for the past few years we've seen in spring training a lot, and we've seen on the Blue Jays at some points, and he's gone now. He is no longer going to be on the Toronto Blue Jays or in their system. He is headed to the Dodgers. And of all teams you wouldn't want a player to go to, the Dodgers have a great development down there. Maybe they'll be able to find something in Stuart Barroa. And I'm not saying, that Ross Atkins did anything bad by doing this move. The Jays, obviously, we're never going to get anything out of Stuart Barroa. He's, a decent glove guy. He's a good clubhouse guy, but he is gone now. We saw him a lot last year. Not fan favorite to some as well. He is gone. And it's to the Los Angeles Dodgers of all places. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Dodgers can somehow turn him around. Maybe more interestingly here, Dylan Tate cleared waivers and accepted his assignment to AAA. Now, Dylan Tate, again, he's a couple years removed from having a very good season in 2022, 2023 with the Orioles. He's a very good bullpen guy when he's at his best. And he was just struggling with the Jays last year when they signed him, struggled this year. They signed him to a major league deal. He got to spring training very late because they made the signing late, and he struggled ever since. And they, DFA'd him, but he cleared waivers and is now back in AAA. So this is actually pretty important. There's some more depth down there in AAA for relievers. Of course, we have some starters doing some things and all these different, things there. But for him to be now down in AAA, that is very good news. Anytime you can have a guy that, maybe the Jays were iffy on or hoping they could keep around, remain in the organization, that is a very good sign. And again, in a season that the Jays have made a ton of moves thus far, to have somebody like Dylan Tate squeak through the cracks, you love to see it. And I would not be surprised whatsoever if Dylan Tate makes the makes the major league team once again here. Even if it's fairly soon, depending on how the bullpen goes. We're seeing guys like Josh Walker make his major league debut the game a couple games ago against Seattle. We're seeing a bunch of different things happen. I mean, Eric Lauer, Easton Lucas getting called up and sent down. Like, there's a ton of movement here, and the Blue Jays bullpen is very good. And as it gets healthier and healthier, things are going to continue to get better and better. But having depth down there in AAA is always good. Now, let's dive into a couple other things here. But shout out to Stuart Barroa. Obviously, always seemed like, by all accounts, a nice guy. So hopefully he can enjoy his time in LA. And it'll be interesting to see if he makes the team with them. I mean, LA, they've some former Blue Jays from time to time over there. Teoscar Hernandez and some other guys as well. Kevin Biggio as well, randomly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But let's dive into a couple other things now. Now, obviously, we're at the point of the season where the Jays can kind of start to figure out what the vibe is around the team. I can see here from Keegan, and not just Keegan, Ben Nicholas Smith as well. George Springer after the Jays sweep in Seattle. And he went on to say, I love this team. I love the guys in the locker room. For me, it's about doing something every day to help the team win. I'm trying to do anything I can and have some fun with the boys in the process. And I mean, quite frankly, this team surrounding, George Springer has carried this team offensively. Without him, I don't know where the Jays would be, because they have won some games, a lot of games, because of him. The offense, when it was really bad, which was only a few days ago prior to the Mariners series, it was struggling bad. And George Springer above a 900 OPS, he's turning back the clock, he's hitting cleanup, all these different things, especially in Santander's absence. This team is going to rely on a lot of these guys to play well. And we were hoping that, Alan Rowe and Will Wagner and all these guys are going to be the ones that can hopefully, stick around and play good. It's ended up being randomly George Springer of all people. So shout out to George Springer. And I love this comment because not only is this a great sign heading into tonight's series against the Rays, tonight's an AL East opponent. You have to take care of business. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You take care of business, you get stuff done, and you win these games against the weaker opponents. And speaking of, weaker opponents, Alejandro Kirk, again, I covered this. In case you missed it, I want to re-up for you guys. He should be available tonight against the Rays, and Santander is also trending to play the Rays tonight as well. So a couple of big updates here. We're hoping to see both of these guys in the lineup. If one of them is missing, it gets a little bit sketchy, but hopefully the boys are going to be able to come back. And specifically Santander, he was trending upwards before his injury, and Alejandro Kirk has been playing really, really well as well. So everything is starting to come around. Varsho, all these guys are playing good baseball. You're getting some, we'll dive into some other updates in a minute here. A lot of health, concerns that are starting to become, not concerns. And you see here from BNS, after a strong weekend at the plate, the Jays have a team WRC plus of 99 for 2025, which ranks 14th among 30 MLB teams. So essentially league average so far. Feels a bit weird given their struggles hitting home runs, but they're a big singles team, 6th in the MLB, and ranked 9th in doubles. So it's an interesting tweet because the Jays are technically a bit better than league average as it pertains to hitting, but of course, WRC plus being 100 is league average, so it's a little bit weird there. But regardless of that, the Jays are in an extremely good spot, being a bit better than league average, but also, following what was some of the worst hitting we have ever seen. If the home runs can start to come, they're going to skyrocket in the standings, and that's the only thing holding them back. They're back into the bullpen, fantastic. Starters, fantastic. And in general, and if your hitting can start to become on the same level, you're going to be in a fantastic spot following what was a brutal month of April. Hasn't been a great month of May as it pertains to schedule. The schedule does not get any easier. Like it does technically, but it hasn't gotten much easier or any easier really compared to April. And obviously April, as I've mentioned on the channel multiple times, was the hardest month of the year along with September. May is just as bad, and because a lot of these teams that were supposed to be bad are actually quite good. And again, they've came to life though over the last 4 games. 29 runs scored, 5 homers, a bunch of things. They won its 3rd game by 5 runs or more this season, first in over a month. No coincidence they went 4-0 in this span, and that can also help be contributed to Addison Barger's breakout, who I spoke about in yesterday's video. So go feel free to check that one out after this one if you're curious about that. But it's going to be a very, very good sign. I mean, you have Ernie Clement as well, which we'll dive into. But let's dive into a couple injury updates as well. It came out a couple days ago, but no one's really talking about him here. So Scherzer has to face live hitters again. Of course, either would have been last Sunday or, of course, Tuesday, which is today. Then likely one more before he pitches in rehab games. And regarding Swanson and Burr, they're for a compact league a few days ago. And Swanson, next stop for both of them, I think, will be Buffalo. And, of course, we're talking about Max Scherzer mainly. Eric Swanson's going to be nearing a return here soon. And this was now 3 or 4 days ago that this initial update came out. We haven't heard any update yet. I assume we're going to hear another update later today surrounding Scherzer. I believe, some other updates have come out that he's felt very, very good following a lot of these different throwing things. So hopefully Scherzer is going to be able to, come back and actually be, at the end of the day, Scherzer, we're going to be hearing a lot of updates about him, whether he's doing good, whether he's doing bad. He seemingly has gotten a lot better as of late, feeling really, really good. He needs to continue to throw in these, complex league stints, going to the Buffalo stints. And assuming Scherzer's pitching today, we should have an update regarding him, and that's very positive news there. What else is positive, quickly before I wrap up, is Ernie Clement hitting .338 over the last 30 days. Crazy. If Barger keeps producing and him as gets healthy, Ernie's the perfect right-handed complement to split time at 3rd and 2nd, not to mention his pinch hitting ability. It's a great player to have on your roster. And as you look ahead, the Jays start a lengthy homestand tonight, starting with the Rays into the Padres. They play the Rangers towards the end of the month there. And again, the Rays, it's a 3-game set. You need to take care. You need to sweep. I mean, at least win 2 out of 3 because you're going up against an extremely tough schedule to end this month. Like, it is brutal. Tigers, one of the best teams in the AL. Padres, one of the best teams in the MLB. The Rangers, a very solid team as always. The Athletics, randomly very good, better than almost any team in the AL East. The schedule is brutal. Like I mentioned in a video a few days ago, I jumped the gun a little bit saying they played the Rangers, but they play the Rays tonight. They need to take the W. They need to, go out. And if Addison Barger and Ernie Clement continue to be beasts, we'll be in a very good shape. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. And most importantly, give me your prediction for tonight's game. And if you're excited to see Alejandro Kirk and Anthony Santander back in the lineup.